Yeah, I want to go over some more different ways of possibly using this Spooky2 Rife device, the generators. Actually, I got two generators on here. And I'm going to go over something once before to preface something else that's actually going to be the main target of what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to try to just point out a couple things because within this program, actually they have in here, it's called multiple sclerosis, right? 1 and 2. Multiple sclerosis at the Roman numeral sign V. Maybe that's 5 or something. But actually, this is not actually a multiple sclerosis program. It's actually a detox program. And one of the things I saw in here was benzene. Benzene that it detoxes. Something that Hulda Clark talked about that is very, very harmful to people. And is actually in a lot of people. So I'm running this multiple sclerosis program on myself, which actually is not for MS. It's actually to detox many of the minerals and metals that are and poisons that are in the body that could possibly cause MS. Just want to point that out for this before I get on to something else I think is even more interesting. Then also aluminum 1 and 2. There's 2 you run to take out aluminum in the body. Then I'm also running 3 sets of detox or 4 sets of detox aluminum. And I actually saved this as a special program. Basically, it's like detoxifying all metals and things besides the other detox programs. But you won't notice this. I just want to point this out in this same video. Now, I want to get into something else here because under this particular frequency set, ALT, I don't even know what that is exactly, alternative, I guess. It has where you can actually, this supposedly will awaken the various chakra points of the body. Now, I am not thinking about I'm thinking about something else here, more or less, when I was talking about the chakra points, basically the third eye, the base, the crown, the heart. But I started thinking that this might be good to work these in conjunction with other programs. In other words, you have a program here called DNA Special. And I'm going to explain what these frequencies are to the best of my knowledge. But what I started thinking is to run a particular program where, in other words, you would take the chakras and run, say, the crown chakra, the heart chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the throat chakra, and run a few sets of that to awaken up that section of the body, and then run the DNA Special over that right after that a few times. Then go to the next chakra point of the body, basically the section of the body, run that a few times. It awakens. It's a theory. I don't know if it's going to work, but let me put it to you this way. I'm going to explain more how I understand how this actual DNA Special works. So in my mind, this is experimental. What I would think is if you awaken the chakra or section of the body and specifically awaken one section of the body, then ran the DNA Special on it a few times, then went to the next chakra or section of the body, then ran the DNA Special on that, that might be more effective. I don't know, but it's an idea worth exploring. So actually I'm saying 2 different things in here. So I did mention initially I'm running a sweep too on something else, but I did mention that also, besides the actual detox sets in here for heavy metals and stuff, they have detox for aluminum especially. 2 different types of sets under the extra frequency. Then this MS or multiple sclerosis 5, 2 frequency sets. Actually, that's getting rid of a lot of toxins in the body. That's what it's for. Benzene especially. Thought that was something I should point out because I've been drilling into a lot of these frequency sets to see what the hell they do. And you think you have a problem with toxins, which damage DNA and cause a lot of crazy different other problems, in the body that you might be thinking you got this wrong, that wrong. A variety of things. Actually, Dr. Hulda Clark, she said that benzene was a prime cause of a lot of different things. You want to get rid of benzene in the body. And actually this here, multiple sclerosis 5, actually addresses that. And actually, if I type it in here, multiple sclerosis 5, it's under, if I can find it, it's under the consolidated frequency list, the regular list. It's, I don't see it here right away, but it's something that addresses, it's the actual Roman numeral 5, though. It's not, here it is. It actually addresses all this aspartame, right? Another problem what people have. That's what I thought this was interesting. It's like in this multiple sclerosis program. So aspartame, lead, mercury, benzene, and I don't know what this actually is. I don't know. It's some kind of chemical. Can cause the same type of symptoms. So in other words, you may not be having a problem with MS per se. It's all these other toxins. So this is something else that, it also damages your DNA. So I also want to point that out, and I also want to point out that you might want to run the chakra a few times and then go to the DNA special. Now I'm going to explain what the DNA special is, actually what the frequencies are. And I'm not an expert in this field, and I don't think there is any kind of accreditation in this type of field anyway, but I'm trying to be accurate with it and take information from a host of sources that are not just, these feel-good sources. I thought I felt this. They seem to have a basis, that have a real scientific basis going all the way back. In other words, I'm a hard empirical type scientific person. I'm not into feel-good type stuff. I'm pretty austere, and just stick with the facts. But anyway, and I was talking about, I'm not even much on with this stuff with awakening the chakras, but say for instance you use the alternative frequency base list, and it says you awaken the chakra, the throat chakra or whatever, right? Now, I would think, in my mind, now this is experimental, that if you awaken, if you're going to run this DNA repair special, you would want to awaken a section of the body at a time. Do it in pieces, right? Kind of makes sense, like cleaning your kitchen or something. You do the stove one time, you do the refrigerator, you do the floor, you do the countertops. I don't know, maybe that's a bad analogy, but that's kind of how I'm thinking. It's in sections, right? So say, for instance, you awaken the throat chakra. The program actually runs 3 minutes to do that. I would just run it 3 times in concession, so it runs 9 minutes, or make it so it runs 9 minutes. I don't know if that's accurate, but I would think you want to make sure if that actually does awaken that part of the body, you want to make sure it's awakened, right? So this is all theoretical. Let me put it to you this way. But some of it isn't, I don't think. Some of it isn't. Now, that's my idea about awakening the chakras individually, then running the DNA repair section. That's my idea. I don't know. But let me put it to you this way. The DNA repair consists of, this DNA special actually consists of a set of frequencies. It starts out with 10,126 or 10,125, depending on what the set is. That says that's a command, theoretically, for DNA preparation for change. So 10,125 or 126 is DNA preparation for change, almost like the military, You're going to be on a firing line or something. 528 would be the next frequency, DNA repair. Now that's been touted to be the DNA repair frequency. 417, facilitating change in the DNA. So, 7 hertz, the next one, 7 hertz, is DNA teleportation. And then after that is 2,850.24 hertz, vitamin C gene. It's gluconolactone oxidase. I don't know what that is exactly. I've read this. I've seen this term a lot. And actually, I want to point out some things about vitamin C. Actually, this gene is not present in humans. It's present in almost every other species that's a mammal on this earth, except for, I think, a certain type of bats and some certain types of monkeys. But basically, it's a gene that is responsible in other mammals that they can produce their own vitamin C. Now, I'm going to get into something with the vitamin C, though, in with this video also. The next is followed up by 10 hertz, DNA balance during the change. This is what it's supposed to be, this public information. Then it goes back to 7 hertz. So it's following a pattern. 7 hertz, it goes DNA teleportation again. Then it goes back into 528, DNA repair, which is DNA repair signal. Okay, frequency, or whatever you want to call it. Then it goes back into 10,126, end of DNA change. So my idea is if you awaken the chakra point of the body, you want to run this DNA special a few times on that chakra, and then go to the next chakra. In other words, then you try to run a few sets of frequencies on the next chakra that would awaken that section of the body, then run the DNA special. I don't know if this is something, it's theoretical, I'll put it to you this way, but it may be another use of combining the tools of Spooky2. And a lot of this is experimental and theoretical, but it's let me put it this way, the program itself has far more frequency sets that are usually like you have to pay extra for. So if you want to experiment with these things, it's loaded with stuff. But you might want to use them in combination with other things, like I mentioned, where you have an MS, multiple sclerosis program in there, where one of them is actually for detoxifying various things in the body, like aspartame, mercury, and benzene, and other things that could be causing the effects of that. But not only is that a problem with MS, it's a problem with a gazillion different things, actually, because Dr. Hulda Clark, some people don't like her, some people like her. I definitely think she had some kind of merit, even though some things were exaggerated quite a bit, but she was on the right track with some things. But she said that benzene was a big problem in the body. So, I'm mentioning this other thing before. I'm talking about this DNA strategy of repairing the DNA through frequencies, that you might want to run some of these special detox things, and some of the things are not labeled detox. It's this multiple sclerosis, Roman numeral 5, the V sign, and it has 2 sets, 1 of 2 and then 2 of 2. You run them in order. Actually, that has a lot of detox. Now, that could be causing problems, or it may be just something for good health. I don't know. I don't really know if this is... right now, I know in the Western world, this is not recognized by anybody in the medical establishment at all, period. It may be recognized in other parts of the world, but definitely not in the United States. But, if you want to experiment with this, I'm just throwing out some food for thought here, and this is, the Western world will say it does nothing, so if it does nothing, it does no harm too, right? But anyway, I'm going to point out something else. This, I don't even know how to actually say this word exactly. It's L-gulonolactone oxidase. It's gulonolactone oxidase. Actually, it's a type of gene, a vitamin C gene, that used to be found... Well, let me put it this way. Some people say it used to be found in humans, and some people say it never was found in humans. The traditional scientific thing is that humans back thousands of years ago used to only live to be about 40 years old and die before the advent of modern medicine. But now, I'm not somebody who's actually really heavy into the Bible at all, and actually I'm not at all, but if you actually look in the Bible, there's been accounts of people that live to be hundreds of years old. Well, the theory is today by scientists, it says if you have this vitamin C gene, people can actually have the ability to live to be centuries old. A lot of animals have this, and if they did not have it, their lifespans would be greatly, greatly, greatly reduced because they actually have a gene in their body that produces their own vitamin C. Now, I want to point out something with, and I'm mentioning this stuff along this lines because maybe if you're interested in DNA repair, you're thinking of longevity, the best health, or whatever. And this is all theoretical, but let me point something else. There's been a lot of studies since the 70s about vitamin C therapy, preventing disease. It's controversial, right? I mean, there's people say no, yes, and all this kind of garbage, but there's been a lot of studies about it. But what is interesting is that they found that even in animals, as they get older, even though they have this ability to produce more vitamin C, their ability to produce vitamin C diminishes. So, that's part of the aging process. So it's also a theory that if they can keep up their ability to produce vitamin C, that they will live longer. Now, it's actually been shown in some scientific studies that women will have more vitamin C throughout their body than males. And that's also been one of the reasons why they think that women live longer than males because they have more vitamin C in their body. Now, I should also caution you about one thing. If you're to take a lot of vitamin C, there's actually, as you take more vitamin C, less of it gets absorbed as a percentage. It does not seem to be toxic, but you could get where you got almost like acidic, too much acid in the stomach and stuff. And maybe it's not good that way, but it could be that taking more vitamin C might, help your health along quite a bit. It might actually be a vitamin that's not just noted for or touted to be good with when you have a cold or something like that, or you need it for as an essential vitamin that you need against scurvy, but it could be something that possibly could help protect you and make you live a little bit longer. It's some people have theorized this that are scientists. Let me put it that way. It's not just total conjecture, but it's controversial. But what's interesting is that it's also been alleged that possibly way back thousands and thousands of years ago, humans did have this ability to produce this vitamin C gene called L-gulonolactone oxidase, I guess. I don't know how to say that, but it's, I've studied enough on this stuff with the big words, but this is one of them I'm like, I don't know what this word is actually. But it's, I've heard about it and I read about these theories before, but it's one I've never really focused in on too much until I actually saw that it's one of the it's the middle frequency in the DNA special that supposedly will turn on the vitamin C gene. The vitamin C gene has been theorized that if humans did not lose this ability to produce their own vitamin C and did not lose this gene, they would live to be centuries years old. So the theory is behind running this DNA special is it's helping you to do that. Now, I don't know how effective it's going to be. I mean, I'm just saying it's as an experiment. Now, in my mind, I want to repeat it again. It might be an idea to, awaken an area of the body through the chakra frequencies, run a repetitive set 3 times, awaken the throat area or whatever it is, the throat chakra, or maybe the solar plexus chakra or whatever. And then, run your DNA special, which has a series of frequencies. It goes, it starts out DNA preparation for change. I'm repeating this, okay? Then it goes DNA repair. Then it goes facilitating change. Then it goes DNA teleportation. Then it goes vitamin C gene, that's that big word again, L-gulonolactone oxidase, whatever that is. Then it goes to DNA balance, store, and change. Then it goes to DNA teleportation again, DNA repair again. Then it finishes up with end of DNA change. It's not a bad way to actually, experiment with this, in my opinion, that if you're going to run this program, you might not always want to say, click on a program, and try to, run things in concert with each other and see how if they work for you. Now, I don't expect, if, say, they are a miracle, let's say they are, I can't see how they would work overnight. I think it would take some weeks or months or whatever to notice an effect of real change. But I tell you the truth, I'm totally, like this technology, to tell you the truth, and I think there's a lot of merit to it. So just want to put out some of my ideas on this and point out a couple things in the program that are not readily apparent when you just, purchase the hardware and you download the program to go use it. And again, I want to say I'm not an expert on this, by no means. I try to read a lot, I study a lot, I try to be more accurate with things, and I'm just pointing out something that might be a good idea. But if you got a better idea, maybe there's something I'm leaving out. I don't know, but I'm trying to put something out here with a nice, practical, easy way that people could use and maybe benefit them. I think there's something to this that's solid science. It's not just, I imagine this placebo stuff, okay? I think there's a lot more to this, and even though it's not recognized in the Western world, and now actually in the Western world, in the scientific community, you might find a lot more recognition of this. Actually, I find that, if you, I just want to ad lib on here real briefly, like the Schumann Earth frequency, we'll take something really well known like that in scientific circles. The scientific people will tell you that the Schumann Earth frequency actually has beneficial effects on the body. And there's been a number of experiments, but if you go to a medical doctor, they're not going to give you a Schumann Earth frequency device that makes that frequency and tell you to do this an hour a day. They're not going to do that. Not that I know of. So it's not like it's totally outside the medical, outside the scientific community in the United States. It's more outside the medical community, because the medical community is very, very focused on taking the direction and route of using pharmaceutical drugs and chemicals to affect changes in the body. And I guess, you might say everything that you eat for food is a chemical and has a chemical change on the body. But that is not recognized as medicine in the medical community, which is almost, you think about it, that's ludicrous too, because food would be a chemical in itself too, right? So I mean, I don't know. Well, we all know the deal. We know the deal is this, that if, say for instance, this technology with frequencies is that beneficial, or it turns out that there are discovered areas of this that could be that beneficial to, say, prolong life, be healthier, or stop the progression of a disease or something like that, or reverse something like that, say it was discovered, well, it would actually put the chemical pharmaceutical industry pretty much out of business. And we do know that if we go way back, that actually the pharmaceutical industry model was started with Rockefeller, So anyway, if you go back, there's a whole other story about that. I'll mention that in this because it's not going to be profitable for some people to do things this way if it turns out to be an accurate answer. But I don't know. I don't know if it's an accurate answer. And like I said, I'm just presenting some of my ideas from things that, the best information that I could possibly glean. So Anyway, over and out. And just hopefully you might this might have provided you some benefit for some ideas or something with this video.